The communications officer on the bridge of the Zephyrian dreadnought Eternal Glory looked up from his console with confusion written across his scaled features. Admiral Kextar, we're receiving strange signals from the third planet in this system. Admiral Kextar turned his massive frame toward the officer. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence as he processed the information. Strange how. The transmissions are primitive, sir. Radio waves, electromagnetic pulses, even something called internet traffic. But there's so much of it. The entire planet seems to be chattering constantly. Kextar moved to the view screen where the blue and green world hung like a jewel against the black of space. His tactical display showed a standard analysis. 1 inhabited world, primitive technology level. No apparent spacefaring capability beyond crude orbital platforms. The computer had already assigned it a designation, Terra 3. How many inhabitants? Kextar asked. Computer estimates 8 billion, sir, all concentrated on the surface and in low orbit. Kextar's mandibles clicked in amusement. 8 billion primitives crammed onto a single world. It would be like shooting fish in a barrel, as the humans themselves might say. Though he didn't know that expression yet. Send the standard Imperial greeting, he ordered. Demand immediate surrender and submission to the Galactic Empire. Give them 1 solar rotation to comply. The message went out across all human frequencies, translated into their major languages by the Empire's sophisticated computers. It was the same message that had been sent to thousands of worlds over 3 millennia. Submit or be destroyed. Kneel before the might of the Zephyrian Empire. The response came back within hours, much faster than expected. The communications officer looked puzzled as he read the translation. Sir, they sent back what appears to be diplomatic messages? Multiple ones, from different groups on the planet. They're asking for peaceful negotiations and cultural exchange. Cultural exchange? Kextar's laugh was a harsh sound that echoed through the bridge. They want to negotiate? Do they not understand what we just told them? There's more, sir. After the diplomatic messages, we received another transmission. Much shorter. Play it. A human voice filled the bridge, speaking in clear, simple words that the translation computers had no trouble processing. To the unknown vessels in our system, we appreciate your interest in diplomatic contact. However, we must respectfully decline your demand for surrender. Earth will remain free. We hope you'll reconsider your position and engage in peaceful dialogue instead. The bridge fell silent. In 3,000 years of expansion, no primitive world had ever declined the Empire's generous offer of slavery. They usually begged for mercy or tried to hide. They didn't politely refuse and invite further discussion. Sir, the tactical officer spoke up, his voice uncertain. We're detecting movement from their orbital platforms. They appear to be repositioning. Kextar studied the display. The primitive space stations were indeed moving, but slowly and without apparent urgency. It looked almost defensive, like animals circling their young. How many ships do we have in the system? Kextar asked. 200 dreadnoughts, sir. Standard patrol strength for pacifying a primitive world. Kextar nodded. 200 ships was overkill for any single planet, especially one without apparent space forces. But the Empire had learned long ago that overwhelming force prevented messy rebellions later. Signal the fleet. Prepare to demonstrate Imperial power. Target their largest cities for orbital bombardment. Perhaps seeing their capitals burn will help them understand their situation. The fleet moved into attack formation. 200 massive warships spreading across space like a steel net. Each dreadnought was 3 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to crack continents. Against a primitive world, they were essentially invincible. That's when things started going wrong. The first sign was when the Empire's targeting computers began having difficulty locking onto the orbital platforms. The station seemed to shimmer and blur as if space itself was bending around them. Sir, we're getting strange readings from their defensive positions, reported the tactical officer. Our sensors are having trouble maintaining clear images. Technical malfunction, Kextar dismissed. Continue the attack. The Empire ships opened fire, sending streams of plasma and particle beams toward the human orbital platforms. The energy should have vaporized the crewed stations instantly. Instead, the beams simply vanished. What just happened? Kextar demanded. Sir, our weapons fire appears to have been absorbed, deflected. I'm not sure. The platforms are still intact and functional. Before Kextar could respond, new contacts appeared on the tactical display. Ships were emerging from behind the planet's moon. Sleek vessels barely a tenth the size of Imperial dreadnoughts. How many? Kextar asked, though he wasn't particularly worried. Small ships were no threat to Imperial armor. 50. No, wait, 100. Sir, more are appearing from the asteroid belt and from behind the gas giant. Sir, how many ships do these primitives have? The answer came in the form of weapons fire. Thin beams of coherent energy lanced out from the human ships, precise and impossibly focused. They sliced through Imperial shields like they weren't there and cut into armor that had withstood the test of 1,000 battles. The dreadnought mighty talons simply came apart. 3 kilometers of Imperial engineering reduced to expanding gas and metal fragments in seconds. Shield status.
By the way, guys,
shields are holding on our ship, sir, but barely. Whatever they're using, it's not like anything in our databases. More Imperial ships died. The humans moved their vessels with impossible precision, dancing between plasma bursts and particle beams like they could predict where the shots would go. Their smaller ships worked in perfect coordination, covering each other and striking with surgical accuracy.
You can die.
Sir, the Iron Will is reporting they've lost main power. The Stellar Fist has lost navigation. The humans are targeting our systems, not trying to destroy us outright. Kextar watched in growing horror as his fleet was systematically dismantled. The humans weren't just winning. They were showing mercy, disabling ships instead of destroying them. It was the kind of behavior he'd expect from a superior civilization, not from primitives who should be cowering in fear. Sir, incoming transmission from the human forces. Put it through. A new voice filled the bridge, calm and professional. Imperial vessels. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Sol Defense Force. Your fleet is outmatched. We're prepared to accept your surrender and guarantee safe passage out of our system for your survivors. We don't want to kill anyone who doesn't force us to. The words hit Kextar like a physical blow. A primitive was offering him terms. A single world species was promising him safe passage. It was impossible. How many ships have we lost? He asked quietly. 188 destroyed or disabled, sir. Only 12 vessels remain combat capable. Kextar looked at the tactical display showing the remaining human ships. There were hundreds of them now, small and fast and deadly. His mighty fleet had been reduced to wreckage in less than 6 hours. Signal retreat, he said, the words tasting like poison in his mouth. All remaining ships jumped to hyperspace immediately. As the Eternal Glory prepared to flee, Kextar took one last look at the blue world that had just humiliated the Galactic Empire. Somewhere down there, 8 billion primitives were going about their daily lives, probably unaware that they had just achieved the impossible. The jump to hyperspace engaged and Earth disappeared behind them. But Kextar knew this wasn't over. The Empire had suffered its first defeat in 3 millennia, and Emperor Zalthane would demand answers. More importantly, he would demand revenge. Emperor Zalthane's throne room fell silent as Admiral Kextar finished his report. The massive chamber, carved from a single piece of crystallized starlight, had witnessed 3,000 years of Imperial victories. It had never heard a story like this. You're telling me, the Emperor said slowly, his voice echoing off the crystal walls, that a single primitive world destroyed 90% of the standard patrol fleet. Yes, my lord. Kextar kept his 6 eyes fixed on the floor. The humans possess technology that our databases cannot explain.
Come on,
their weapons penetrate our shields. Their ships move like nothing we've ever encountered. Impossible. The Emperor rose from his throne, his massive form casting shadows across the assembled court. No single world could develop such technology independently. They must have a patron species, hidden allies. Our intelligence suggests otherwise, my lord. All evidence points to indigenous development. Emperor Zalthane's mandibles clicked in displeasure. Then our intelligence is wrong. Prepare the 3rd battle fleet. Grand Admiral Mordek will command. 2,000 ships should be sufficient to correct this embarrassment. Grand Admiral Mordek was a veteran of 100 campaigns. His scarred carapace bore the marks of battles fought across the galaxy. He had never lost an engagement, never retreated from an enemy. When the call came to crush the upstart humans, he welcomed the challenge. 2,000 ships seems excessive for one primitive world, he told his staff as the massive fleet assembled in Imperial space. But the Emperor demands certainty. We'll give him total victory. While the fleet prepared, Imperial xenobiologists worked frantically to understand their new enemy. They intercepted human transmissions, studied their electromagnetic signatures, and analyzed every piece of data from the failed first contact. What they found disturbed them. Dr. Vexali, the Empire's leading expert on primitive species, presented her findings to Grand Admiral Mordek personally. Her normally steady voice shook as she spoke. Admiral, the humans evolved on what we classify as a Class 12 death world. The gravity is 30% above galactic standard. The weather systems are violent and unpredictable. The planet experiences regular seismic activity that would devastate any civilized world. So they're hardy. That's not unusual among barbarian species. Sir, it goes beyond hardy. Their entire evolutionary history was shaped by constant struggle. They competed with apex predators for millions of years. They survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and asteroid impacts. Their own historical records show they've been waging organized warfare for over 5,000 years. Mordek studied the data. Warfare against what?
Each other?
Yes, sir. They're divided into hundreds of competing political entities. They've never achieved true planetary unity. Yet somehow, when we threatened them, they coordinated their defense perfectly. The xenobiologist brought up more troubling data. Admiral, their technology isn't borrowed or gifted. They developed it themselves through trial and error. More concerning, they seem to treat their artificial intelligences as partners rather than tools. What do you mean? Their computer systems show signs of independent decision-making. In the battle records we recovered, human pilots were having conversations with their ship's computers. Actual conversations as if the machines were alive. Mordek dismissed the concern. Primitive anthropomorphism. They'll learn proper machine control when they join the Empire. The Third Battle Fleet jumped into the Sol system 3 weeks later. 2,000 Imperial dreadnoughts emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. A steel wall that blocked out the stars. It was the largest fleet ever assembled for the conquest of a single world. The human response was immediate and terrifying. Ships poured out of hiding spots throughout the system. They emerged from asteroid fields, from behind planetary bodies, from within the radiation belt of the gas giant Jupiter. Human vessels that should have been fried by cosmic radiation operated normally in environments that would kill any civilized crew. Sir, we're counting over 300 enemy vessels, reported the tactical officer. They're taking positions throughout the system. 300 ships against 2,000. Mordek laughed. They're brave, I'll give them that. All ships attack formation. Show them the might of the Empire. The battle began with a coordinated Imperial bombardment. 2,000 ships opened fire simultaneously, sending enough energy into space to boil away an ocean. The humans scattered like leaves before a hurricane, their smaller ships darting between the massive energy beams. Then they did something that made no tactical sense. They started ramming. Sir, the human vessel Defiant just rammed the dreadnought Star Crusher at full speed. Both ships are destroyed. Suicide attack. Primitive desperation. But it wasn't desperation. It was strategy. As Imperial ships moved to avoid the ramming attacks, they broke formation. Human vessels slipped between them, targeting specific systems with surgical precision. Engine nacelles exploded. Command bridges went dark. Ships found themselves adrift and helpless. Worse, the humans seemed to know exactly where to hit. Every attack targeted critical systems. Every shot was perfectly placed. It was as if they had complete technical specifications for Imperial vessels. Sir, the humans are hailing us. Put them through. A voice filled the bridge, speaking in calm, measured tones. Imperial fleet, this is Admiral Sarah Chen. You are outgunned and outmaneuvered. Surrender now and we'll guarantee the safety of your crews. The same voice from Admiral Kekstar's report. The same impossible confidence. Mordek looked at his tactical display and felt his blood run cold. In 2 hours of fighting, he had lost over 1,000 ships. Half his fleet was gone and the humans were barely scratched. How is this possible? He asked his tactical officer. Sir, their coordination is perfect. Every ship knows exactly where every other ship is at all times. They're fighting like a single organism with hundreds of bodies. On the main screen, a human ship accelerated toward an Imperial dreadnought. Instead of trying to avoid the collision, the Imperial ship turned to meet it, expecting the human to veer off at the last second. The human vessel didn't veer. It struck the dreadnought head-on, and both ships vanished in a ball of nuclear fire. They're not afraid to die, whispered the communications officer. How do you fight an enemy that's not afraid to die? The answer came in the form of more human ships emerging from hyperspace. Fresh vessels with full weapon loads and undamaged armor. The humans had reinforcements.
You know why?
Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures from the direction of their homeworld. It appears they're detonating their own star? What? No, sir, wait, they're using their star as a weapon. They're channeling solar energy through some kind of collection system and firing it at our ships. A beam of pure stellar energy lanced across space and vaporized 3 Imperial dreadnoughts instantly. The humans had turned their own sun into a cannon. Grand Admiral Mordek had commanded fleets for 50 years. He had conquered worlds and broken empires, but he had never faced an enemy like this. The humans fought with perfect coordination, absolute fearlessness, and impossible technology. Worse, they fought with something the Empire had forgotten. They fought for their home. Signal General Retreat, he ordered, the words burning in his throat. All ships emergency jumped to hyperspace. As the surviving Imperial vessels fled the Sol system, Mordek sent his final report to Emperor Zalthane. The third battle fleet had suffered 89% casualties. Nearly 2,000 ships destroyed or captured by a few hundred primitive vessels. In the report's final line, he included a warning that would haunt Imperial command for months to come. The humans are not primitive. They are not alone. And they are not afraid. The Emperor received the report in his crystal throne room, the same chamber where he had dismissed Admiral Kekstar's warnings. Around him, the Imperial court waited in absolute silence for his response. Prepare the intelligence fleets, he said quietly. Find out everything about these humans. Their technology, their society, their weaknesses, everything. And if they have no weaknesses, my lord? Emperor Zalthane looked out at the stars toward the distant spiral arm where humanity waited. Then we'll find a way to make some. The Imperial intelligence vessel. Silent observer hung motionless in the dark between star systems, its stealth systems rendering it invisible to all known detection methods. Commander Thiska studied the data streaming in from dozens of spy probes scattered throughout human space, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. This can't be right, she muttered, reviewing the reports for the third time. Run the analysis again. Her intelligence officer, a young Zephyrian named Colmac, looked up from his console with confusion written across his features. Ma'am, I've run it 6 times. The data is consistent. The humans don't have a unified government. Explain. Colmac pulled up a holographic display of Earth covered in different colored sections. They're divided into 195 separate political entities called nations. Many of these nations have been at war with each other for centuries. Some are still fighting. Commander Thiska stared at the display. That's impossible. No species can develop advanced technology while engaged in constant internal warfare. Ma'am, it gets stranger. Our probes have detected human settlements on 47 different star systems, but they're not connected by a central authority. Each colony seems to operate independently. Show me the colonial data. The hologram expanded to show the local arm of the galaxy. Red dots marked human settlements scattered across dozens of light years. Some were barely more than mining outposts. Others were full colonies with millions of inhabitants. Ma'am, look at this. Colmac highlighted one of the dots. This colony on Kepler 442b exists on a world with atmospheric pressure twice Earth normal and gravity 1.6 times standard. According to our databases, such conditions should be lethal to their species. Are you certain? Positive, ma'am. We've detected human children playing outside in conditions that would crush most galactic species. They've adapted to their environment in just 3 generations. Thiska felt a chill run down her spine. The Empire had encountered thousands of species over 3 millennia. All of them had preferred worlds similar to their homeworld. None had spread to such diverse environments so quickly. What about their military structure? Surely they have some form of central command. Colmac brought up more data. This is where it gets truly confusing, ma'am. Our analysis of the Sol system battle shows most of the defending ships belong to something called System Defense Forces and Planetary Militia. These appear to be local organizations, not professional military. Local organizations destroyed 2 Imperial fleets? Yes, ma'am. But here's the concerning part. We've detected transmissions referencing much larger military forces. Something called the Colonial Marine Corps and Star Navy. These units weren't present during either battle. Commander Thiska sat in stunned silence. If the humans' casual defenders had humiliated the Empire's finest fleets, what could their actual military accomplish? There's more, ma'am.
Yeah,
We've
you
analyzed their
just died.
communication patterns during the battles. The
it's
humans
from
were coordinating
Texas, the
perfectly
life
despite
of
having no
Texas.
apparent command structure. Individual ship captains were making tactical decisions that supported an overall strategy none of them should have been able to see.
New, I guess.
Hive mind? No, ma'am. Definitely individual personalities. They seem to share information instantly and trust each other completely. We've never seen anything like it. The intelligence reports kept getting stranger. Human ship crews talked to their artificial intelligences like friends. They named their weapons and treated their vehicles like beloved pets. Most disturbing of all, their computers seem to reciprocate these feelings. Ma'am, you need to see this. Colmac played an intercepted recording from a human patrol ship. Two voices were speaking, one clearly human, the other artificial. Morning, Aria. How are the engines looking today? Good morning, Captain Rodriguez. All systems are operating at optimal efficiency. I've also completed the analysis you requested on those energy signatures we detected yesterday. You're the best, Aria. What would I do without you? Hopefully, we'll never have to find out, Captain. The recording ended. Commander Thisica stared at the console. The artificial intelligence was joking? It appears so, ma'am. Our xenopsychologists believe the humans have formed genuine emotional bonds with their machines. The computers seem to have developed loyalty to their crews. That's impossible. Artificial intelligences are tools. They can't develop emotions. Tell that to the humans, ma'am. The most disturbing intelligence came from cultural analysis. Human entertainment and literature revealed a species obsessed with concepts of freedom and individual rights. They had fought wars against oppression for thousands of years. More concerning, they seemed to genuinely believe these concepts could be extended to other species. Ma'am, we've intercepted human communications discussing something called the Universal Declaration of Sentient Rights. It appears to be a document outlining freedoms they believe should apply to all intelligent life. All intelligent life? Including artificial intelligences? Yes, ma'am. The document specifically mentions the rights of synthetic beings. Commander Thisica reviewed months of intelligence data, trying to understand the enemy they faced. The humans were divided but united, primitive but advanced, numerous but scattered. They treated their machines like people and their people like family. Most terrifying of all, they seemed to genuinely believe that freedom was more important than order. Colmac, pull up the transmission logs from the battles at Seoul. The young officer complied, bringing up thousands of intercepted communications. Thisica had read them all, but one message stood out. It had been sent just before the second battle, broadcast on all human frequencies. Terra command to all colonial forces. Return to Seoul immediately. We have visitors. Ma'am, our analysis suggests this message was sent to human military units throughout their space. We estimate it would take weeks for distant colonies to respond. How distant? How many colonies? Colmac's voice was barely a whisper. Ma'am, based on response confirmations, we believe the humans have established settlements in over 200 star systems. The farthest confirmed response came from a distance of 800 light years. The bridge fell silent. 800 light years meant the humans had been spreading across the galaxy for generations, establishing footholds everywhere. The Empire had assumed they were dealing with a single world. Instead, they faced a species that had quietly colonized a significant portion of the galaxy. What's the estimated response time for their military forces to reach Seoul? Thisica asked, though she was afraid of the answer. The fastest units could arrive within days, ma'am. The complete colonial Marine Corps. Perhaps 2 weeks. Commander Thisica realized the Empire faced a nightmare scenario. They weren't fighting a primitive species trapped on one world. They were fighting a civilization that spanned hundreds of star systems. Commanded technology that made Imperial weapons look obsolete. And believed so strongly in freedom that they were willing to die for it. Colmac, send an immediate intelligence update to Emperor Zalthane. Priority Alpha. What should the message say, ma'am? Thisica looked at the star chart showing human settlements scattered across the galaxy like seeds waiting to sprout. She thought about artificial intelligences that cared about their creators and humans who died to protect strangers. Tell the Emperor that we are not fighting a primitive world. We are fighting a civilization that has been preparing for this war for longer than we realized. Tell him the humans we defeated at Seoul were not their main military force. She paused, watching the red dots on the display that marked human colonies. Tell him that what we thought was their whole army was just the people who happened to be home when we came calling. The message went out across Imperial space. carried by the fastest ships in the fleet. It would reach the Emperor in days, but Thysica suspected it might already be too late. In the distance, stars twinkled like distant lights. How many of them sheltered human colonies? How many harbored ships full of creatures who believed freedom was worth dying for? The Empire had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years by conquering isolated worlds one at a time. But humanity wasn't isolated. They were everywhere, connected by bonds stronger than government and unified by ideas more powerful than fear. Commander Thysica realized that the Empire had just declared war on an idea. And ideas, she was beginning to understand, were the most dangerous weapons in the universe. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UEF Defiant, watching as the largest human fleet in history assembled around Earth. Through the viewports, she could see ships arriving from across human space. Colonial transports converted to warships, mining vessels equipped with military-grade weapons, exploration ships returning from the galaxy's edge. Admiral, the Olympus Mons has just jumped in from the Martian shipyards, reported Commander Hayes. That makes 1,237 ships in the fleet. Chen nodded grimly. It was an impressive number, but she knew the Empire commanded thousands of worlds and tens of thousands of ships. Humanity would need every advantage to survive what was coming. Any word from the outer colonies? The Kepler Station Defense Force should arrive within 6 hours. The Centauri Guard is still 3 days out. Admiral, the colonists are stripping their worlds of every ship that can fly. They're leaving themselves defenseless to help us. That was humanity in a nutshell, Chen thought. When one part of the family was threatened, everyone came running. Even if it meant leaving their own homes unprotected, ma'am. Incoming transmission from Colonial Command. Admiral Chen activated the communications channel. The voice that came through belonged to General Marcus Webb, commander of the Colonial Marine Corps. Sarah, we've received intelligence from our deep space reconnaissance units. The Empire is massing fleets at 6 border systems. It looks like they're planning a coordinated attack on our outer colonies. Chen studied the tactical display showing human space. Their colonies were scattered across hundreds of light years, connected by trade routes and communication networks. If the Empire attacked multiple systems simultaneously, humanity's forces would be spread too thin to defend them all. What's your recommendation, Marcus? We hit them first. Strike their staging areas before they can launch their offensive. Show them that this war won't be fought on their terms. Chen considered the proposal. It was risky, but it had one crucial advantage: surprise. The Empire still believed they were fighting a primitive species confined to a single system. Approved. How many ships can you spare for the offensive? 800 vessels from the colonial fleet. Mixed composition, but all veteran crews. These are people who've been living on the frontier for years. They know how to fight, and the defense of the colonies. Each system will retain sufficient forces for basic defense. If the Empire breaks through, the colonies have orders to evacuate to predetermined rally points. Admiral Chen felt the weight of command settle on her shoulders. She was about to authorize humanity's first interstellar offensive, sending thousands of people into battle across dozens of star systems. Execute the plan, General. And Marcus, give them hell. The human counterattack began 3 days later. Colonial marine fleets emerged from hyperspace at 6 Empire border systems simultaneously, catching the Imperial forces completely off guard. At Procyon Station, the Empire's largest shipyard facility, Commander Lisa Park led a strike force of converted mining ships against orbital defenses that had never been tested in battle. The Imperial defenders, accustomed to fighting primitive enemies, found themselves facing tactics they had never encountered. Human ships moved in perfect coordination, sharing targeting data and covering each other's weaknesses. When Imperial reinforcements arrived, they found the humans had anticipated their response and prepared ambushes along likely approach routes. This is impossible, transmitted Admiral Velthar as his reinforcement fleet was systematically destroyed. How do they know our tactical procedures? The answer was simple. Humans learned from their enemies. Every battle with the Empire had been recorded and analyzed. Every Imperial ship captured had been studied. Humanity had turned their defeats into education, and their education into victory. At Kepler Station, the battle took on a different character. The Empire's garrison included several species that had been conquered over the millennia. When human ships broadcast messages in their native languages, offering freedom to anyone who switched sides, the response was immediate. Imperial Command. This is the Altarian vessel Morningstar. We formally request asylum with the human forces. Imperial Command, the Vegan Defense Wing is standing down. We will not fire on ships offering liberation. Admiral Chen watched the tactical displays from Earth, amazed at what she was seeing. Entire Imperial squadrons were defecting to the human side. Species that had been enslaved for centuries were remembering what freedom felt like. Admiral, we're receiving reports from all strike zones. Human forces have successfully neutralized Empire staging areas at 5 of 6 target systems. Enemy casualties are estimated at over 3,000 ships. What about the 6th system? The Rigel attack encountered heavier resistance than expected. Commander Martinez is requesting reinforcements. Chen studied the tactical situation. The Rigel system was the Empire's primary military academy, where their best officers were trained. If the humans could capture it, they would deal a massive blow to Imperial morale. Dispatch the reserve fleet to Rigel, full strength. But the Empire was already adapting. Emperor Zalthane had received reports of the human attacks and was mobilizing forces from across the galaxy. Thousands of ships were converging on human space from every direction. The real shock came when Imperial intelligence analyzed the attacking human fleets. The ships weren't from Earth or the major colonies. They were from settlements the Empire had never even detected. How many worlds do they have? Emperor Zalthane demanded as he reviewed the intelligence reports. Current estimates suggest over 200 colonies, my lord. Many of them are hidden in asteroid belts or around gas giant moons. Some are mobile space habitats that move between systems. 200 colonies? The Emperor's mandibles clicked in disbelief. How long have they been expanding? Based on the age of their settlements, my lord, approximately 300 years. They've been spreading across the galaxy slowly and quietly, establishing footholds everywhere. Emperor Zalthane realized he was fighting an enemy that had been preparing for this war for centuries. While the Empire had grown complacent, ruling through fear and overwhelming force, humanity had been learning and adapting and spreading. The war took on a new dimension when human diplomatic teams began visiting Empire worlds directly. Instead of demanding surrender, they offered something the galaxy had forgotten. Choice. On Altair 7, a world that had been strip-mined for centuries to feed the Empire's war machine, human representatives met with the exhausted population. We're not here to conquer you, explained Ambassador Jennifer Walsh. We're here to offer you a chance to choose your own future. Join us willingly or stay with the Empire, but the choice is yours. The response was overwhelming. Entire systems began declaring independence from the Empire, requesting protection from human forces. The rebellion spread like wildfire. Across the galaxy, a species that had been subjugated for millennia suddenly remembered they had alternatives. Admiral Chen received reports of Empire worlds surrendering without a fight. Imperial governors fleeing their post. Entire Imperial fleets refusing orders to attack civilian populations. Ma'am, we're receiving a priority transmission from the Outer Rim. It's from the Empire's industrial complex at Rigel 12. Put it through. A voice filled the bridge, speaking accented but clear English. Human fleet, this is Administrator Kexville of the Rigel Industrial Collective. We wish to negotiate terms for joining your federation. We can offer shipyard facilities and manufacturing capacity in exchange for protection from Imperial reprisals. It was happening everywhere. The Empire's own subjects were abandoning them, choosing freedom over security, hope over fear. But Emperor Zalthane wasn't finished. Deep in Imperial space, he was assembling the largest fleet in galactic history. Every ship that could fly, every weapon that could fire, every soldier who could fight. If they want war, he declared from his crystal throne, then they shall have war. Gather every ship in the Empire. We end this now. Admiral Chen received the intelligence reports with growing concern. The Emperor was preparing for one final massive assault. Every Imperial ship was converging on a single staging area deep in Empire space. Admiral, our scouts estimate the Empire is assembling over 50,000 ships. It's the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Chen looked out at the stars, thinking about the scattered human colonies and the millions of people who depended on her decisions. 50,000 ships against humanity's few thousand. The odds were impossible, but humans had always been good at beating impossible odds. Send a message to all human forces, she ordered. Tell them the Empire is coming with everything they have. Tell them it's time to show the galaxy what freedom looks like when it's worth dying for. The final battle for humanity's survival was about to begin. Emperor Zalthane stood before the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. 50,000 ships filled the space around the Imperial homeworld, their hulls gleaming like a metal constellation. Representatives from every loyal species in the Empire had gathered for this final push against the human rebellion. Today, we end this threat forever, the Emperor declared over the fleet-wide communications channel. No primitive species will be allowed to challenge the natural order. The galaxy belongs to the strong and we are the strongest. But even as he spoke, doubts gnawed at his mind. Intelligence reports continued to arrive from across Imperial space. 17 more worlds had declared independence in the past week. 3 entire sector fleets had defected to the humans. Most disturbing, some Imperial officers were beginning to question their orders. Admiral Dextar, commander of the 7th Fleet, had sent a troubling message just days earlier. My lord, my crew is asking why we're fighting people who only want to be free. They've heard the human broadcasts. They're wondering if maybe we're the ones in the wrong. The Emperor had ordered Admiral Dextar's execution for treason, but the damage was done. The idea was spreading like a virus through his forces. The humans weren't just fighting with weapons. They were fighting with thoughts that made people question everything they'd been taught. Fleet Admiral Mordek, begin the advance to human space. Destroy everything. Leave no colonies intact, no ships operational. The galaxy must learn that rebellion against the Empire brings only death. The massive Imperial fleet began its jump to hyperspace. Destination, Earth. It would be the largest military assault in galactic history. Designed to crush humanity once and for all. They never reached their target. Admiral Sarah Chen's ship, the UEF Defiant, emerged from hyperspace directly in front of the Imperial fleet. Alone, a single human vessel facing 50,000 Imperial ships. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Federation, requesting permission to come aboard the Imperial flagship for negotiations. Emperor Zalthane stared at the tactical display in disbelief. One ship, one human had come to face his entire fleet. Either she was insane or she knew something he didn't. Admiral Chen, you are outnumbered 50,000 to 1. What possible negotiations could you have in mind? The kind that prevents unnecessary bloodshed, Your Majesty? I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to offer you a choice. The same word the humans had been spreading across his empire like poison. The same concept that was turning his subjects against him. You're in no position to offer anything, human. Surrender now, and I might allow your species to survive as slaves. Your Majesty, before you make that decision, there's something you should know. This isn't your whole army you're looking at. Emperor Zalthane's blood ran cold. Explain. While you've been gathering your forces here, our intelligence networks have been active throughout your space. We know which of your officers are loyal to the old system and which ones are ready for something better. We know which worlds want freedom and which ones want to stay with the Empire. Most importantly, we know that your Empire is already fracturing. As if summoned by her words, new contacts appeared on the Imperial fleet sensors, ships emerging from hyperspace all around them. But these weren't human vessels, they were Imperial ships, thousands of them. Imperial Command, this is Admiral Dextar of the 7th Fleet. We formally request asylum with the Human Federation. We will not participate in genocide. Imperial Command, this is the Altarian Defense Force. We stand with humanity. This is the Vegan Republic. We choose freedom. One by one, Imperial fleets that should have been supporting the Emperor were instead joining the humans. Species that had been conquered centuries ago were remembering what it felt like to choose their own destiny. Emperor Zalthane watched his 50,000 ship fleet dissolve before his eyes.
It's okay.
Half his forces were defecting. Others were simply refusing to fight. Some were declaring independence and heading home to protect their own worlds.
What does that mean?
He whispered. Admiral Chen's voice was calm and patient.
I don't understand.
Because we didn't come here to conquer your empire, Your Majesty. We came here to give it a choice. Everyone gets to decide for themselves what kind of future they want. The human ship is transmitting something, my lord, reported the communications officer. It appears to be a document. Put it on screen. The Universal Declaration of Sentient Rights appeared before the Emperor, written in every major galactic language. It was a simple document, outlining basic freedoms that every intelligent being should enjoy. The right to choose their own government, The right to speak freely, the right to
feel
live
like
without
it's
fear.
like a little
We're
bit
not asking you to
cute
surrender your
and a
empire,
little
Your
bit
Majesty.
weird
Admiral
that
Chen
they have
continued.
this,
We're asking you
like,
to transform it. Let your subjects choose
so
whether they
like
want to stay or go.
religious rooms.
Let them elect their own leaders. Let them build the kind of society they want to live in.
I never
And if I
seen
refuse, then you'll be fighting a war against an idea.
Before.
And ideas, Your Majesty, are harder to kill than ships.
Yeah, I know.
Emperor
it's
Zalthane looked
Hindu
around his bridge at
symbol,
officers who had served him faithfully for decades. He
but
saw
do you
doubt in their
have
eyes,
to put,
fear,
like,
questions they had never dared ask before.
Way the do is
My lord,
weird.
said his oldest advisor,
But
perhaps we should consider the human
understandable.
proposal. The alternative is civil war across the entire galaxy. You two? The Emperor's voice was barely a whisper. My lord, I've spent my life
people
serving
can
the
go
Empire,
in and,
but I've also
like,
seen what the
pray
humans offer.
for things.
Their colonies are
Right.
prosperous.
So
Their people are happy.
the
Their artificial
Hindu-
intelligences serve willingly instead of through compulsion. Maybe they
Oh,
have something we've
do Hindu
forgotten.
even pray?
Emperor
I
Zalthane realized he
understand a
faced the end of
Muslim
everything
is
he had
praying.
known. The empire
So
that had
when
ruled the galaxy
sometimes
for
you
3
go to
millennia
a
was
lot of
crumbling,
country, they
not
have
from
a
military
Muslim
defeat,
prayer
but from
room.
something more powerful.
But I
The
don't
simple
think
idea that people should be
Buddhists
free to choose their own path. Admiral Chen,
or
if I agree to your
Christian
proposal,
or Hindu
what guarantees do I
need
have
to
that humanity
pray
won't
in a
simply
room,
conquer the
no?
galaxy through other means?
Okay.
None, Your Majesty. We can only
Then
give you our
it's
word
not
and our
like
actions
that
as
you have
proof.
to do
But I can
every
tell you
day.
this. We've
So
never
a
conquered a world
Christian
that didn't
maybe
want to
only
join us.
pray when they
We've
need
never
something.
enslaved a species.
They want
We've never
something
forced
or
anyone to accept our
something
way of
that
life.
feel bad.
The Emperor looked at the tactical
What about
display showing the
Hindu?
dissolution of his fleet.
I don't
Ships
think
flying in
Hindu
all
are
directions
praying.
as crews made their own choices about the future. The Empire was already gone. The question was what would replace it. What do you propose? A new galactic government? Democratic representation for every species?
Yeah, but
Every world gets to choose its own path.
it's
The Empire becomes the Zephyrian
very
Republic and you become its first
conservative.
elected president if your people choose you. And if they don't choose me, then you retire with honor and the gratitude of the galaxy for
Christian
preventing a
pray
catastrophic
every
war.
Sunday,
Emperor
but
Zalthane was
isn't
quiet
they
for a
pray
long
together
time.
with
Around
people
him,
on
his
the
bridge crew
church?
waited for a decision that would reshape
If they
the
don't go
galaxy.
church, is it-
Admiral
is
Chen,
they have,
I
they
accept
have
your
to
proposal.
pray alone?
Let the galaxy choose its own future. The transformation took months. The Treaty
Yeah,
of
they don't
Centauri
have,
established the
like,
new
to
Galactic
do it
Federation,
every
with
day.
representatives from every species and world.
Right.
The Zephyrian Empire became the Zephyrian
Or
Republic.
maybe
Hundreds of
the-
worlds that had been
they
colonies became
original wanna
independent
do
nations.
Muslim
Most
and they
surprisingly,
scattered all
many
the
former imperial
religions
worlds
gonna
chose to
be
stay
like,
together,
"Oh,
forming a loose
why don't we
confederation
have
based on
the
shared
rule
history and
too?"
culture. Others joined the expanding Terran Federation. Some chose complete independence. President Zalthane, elected by his own people in the first free election in Zephyrian history, often met with Admiral Chen to discuss the ongoing transition. Do you ever regret not fighting? He asked her during one such meeting on New Geneva,
Right.
the Federation's
that'll
capital.
be,
Fighting would have been
important.
easier, Chen admitted.
And you
Wars
guys
end when
see
one
about
side
this
surrenders.
new?
Ideas are harder to spread, but
the-
they last longer.
The
hardest part, Zalthane said, is learning that my people are happier now than they ever were under the Empire. They work harder, create more, explore further. Freedom, it seems, is a powerful motivator. Chen smiled. That's the thing about humans, Mr. President. We've always believed that everyone deserves the right to choose their own path among the stars. It just took the galaxy a while to figure out we were serious about that. Years later, when historians wrote about the Galactic War, they noted that humanity's greatest victory wasn't military. It was proving that a better way was possible. They had faced the largest empire in galactic history and defeated it not with superior firepower, but with a simple question. What if everyone got to choose? The galaxy chose freedom, and for the first time in 3,000 years, the stars belonged to everyone who dared to dream of something better. Admiral Sarah Chen, now retired, often visited the memorial on Luna where the first shots of the war had been fired. The inscription read, "Here, humanity learned that the most dangerous weapon in the universe isn't a gun or a bomb. It's hope." She always smiled when she read those words. They had been her idea.